Safe working practices while operating shift lifting equipment. Shift staff should be alert to the possibility of damage to both a crane structure and or its wire. The most common damage is that the hoist wire, often caused by improper or rough handling by the crane driver. The hoist wire should always be vertical when lifting or landing a load. Swinging a load to land it or dragging an item out from the wings will inevitably result of wire damage through contact with the coaming. The likelihood of damage to the jib head sheaves, and the possibility of jib damage dragging out from a wing may also cause the hook block to jam under the coaming with damage to the hook and the possibility of hoist wire failure. Ship's officers should be alert to and stop such practices with a letter of protest being issued if unsatisfactory operation continues. Operation of shift lifting gears. No person is to be allowed to operate lifting equipment without adequate training or familiarization with the operating instructions. Trained persons are to be issued certificates with record formal training and approval to use the appliance. No appliance is to be operated in a manner other than described in the operating instructions. Persons who are permitted to operate equipment or assist in the operation of lifting equipment are to be fully conversant with the appropriate sections of the Code of Safe Working Practice. Lifting appliances must not be operated outside their designed limits regarding safe working load, wire speed, list, trim, or dynamic movement of the vessel. All these limitations are to be clearly marked on the appliance. Lifting appliances must always be attended when on possession. When work is completed, an appliance to be secured as applicable and the power turned off. Personnel who are operating lifting equipment shall have no other duties and must have a clear view of operation. Where this is not possible, a trained signaler to be used to give directional instructions to the operator. The signals used are to comply with this detailed in the Code of Safe Working Practice. Personnel and signalers must not allow loads to pass over themselves. Transfer by personal baskets. Under certain circumstances, the use of personal baskets lifted by the ship's cranes presents least risk than the use of gangways or pilot ladders to access to the ship. Transfer by personal basket is only permitted subject to the following conditions. The local regulation in force permit the use of personal transfer by basket. That the personal basket has the appropriate certification. The crane has been load tested in the presence of classification or flag within 5 years, and appropriate annual examination have been carried out. In addition, prior to arrival in any area where the use of basket is probable, then the crane is to be thoroughly checked both mechanically and operationally by the chief engineers and the chief officers. This is to be verified by a log entry to the effect that this examination has been carried out, that a risk assessment is carried out, and that is method of transfer present the option with the least risk. The transfer of the personnel is voluntarily and at the discretion of master or masters dependent whether it is ship or ship to ship or ship to shore transfer. In context of ship cranes, the following terms are explained. Raising or lowering. This is where the hook is raised or lowered with the jib at rest. Slewing. This is where crane jib transverse horizontally with the hook at rest. Luffing, this is where the crane jib is raised or lowered vertically with the hook or wrist. Slewing and securing of cargo cranes. In many cases, especially onboard container vessels equipped with cargo cranes, shore gantry cranes are used for loading and discharging. In such cases, the vessel's own cargo cranes are not in use, and they have to be slewed prior to commencing of cargo operations towards the sea. At right angles of the ship's axis, other cargo operations, the jibs have to be secured back in the crotches. This operation has to be authorized by the chief officers, who has to assure that no shore or sea obstructions are in the way of the jibs while they are operated. Sometimes, it is necessary to move the jibs while shore at the sea obstructions are in close vicinity of the jibs, but as this will increase the possibility to make contact with them, the responsible foreman has to be consulted to seek verbal confirmation that all non-vessel crane drivers are alerted and will not move their cranes toward the vessel cargo cranes and jibs. The vessel is not to leave the berth until fully secured of the sea, even if tugs are alongside and the pilot on board waiting to sail.